This summer, I participated in Global Glimpse, an organization that works with high school students to bring about life-changing experiences in developing countries such as Ecuador. During my trip, I was waiting for a moment of appreciation to dawn on me. However, this moment didn't come until later. The moment finally occurred when my delegation and I helped kids at a local park in Riobamba to sell candy and shine strangers' shoes for money. Despite feeling horribly for them, the kids weren't sad at all, but happy and grateful. What really impacted me was when the kids told us to remember them in our hearts because they will surely remember us in theirs. After spending time with the kids, I realized that there's a large percentage of poverty present in Ecuador, and it's not easy for kids to experience this. Especially when people purposely ignored us at the park where we tried helping the kids sell candy. After coming home, I hung out with my friends from my trip. While we were walking, one of my friends stopped to give coins to a homeless woman. What really impacted me was that I didn't even notice the homeless woman when I passed her, but from her perspective, it seemed like I was purposely ignoring her. This was similar to the incident at the park, and that's when I realized that there is a large presence of poverty in the United States as well. At the end of each day, my delegation compared poverty in Ecuador to poverty in the United States. Although nations like the US may seem prosperous, poverty exists in every country.
In Ecuador, poverty is carried from one generation to the next, resulting in 70% of the country's children living in impoverished lifestyles. Although Ecuador benefited from an oil boom in the 1970s, 21% of the population still lives in poverty and another 12% is vulnerable to it. 1 million out of its 13 million inhabitants cannot meet the proper standards of living. Similarly, the official U.S. poverty rate is 12.7%. Based on the U.S. Census Bureau's estimates, 43.1 million Americans continue to live in impoverished conditions despite welfare and social services.
We can say in Philadelphia, for example, that there's a 26% poverty rate and a 13% deep poverty rate, but what does that look like? These are just figures on a paper. But have you ever spoken to somebody who actually lives the effects of that on a daily basis, okay? And I think one of the things that we have to do in these conversations is stop separating poor from working. Stop with the language of, no one who works 40 hours a week should live in poverty. No one should live in poverty.
Full stop. With the country. Many Americans still struggle to find affordable housing. Chronic homelessness continues to plague tens of thousands of our countrymen, and many millions remain mired in poverty rather than being guided on a path out of it. History has made clear that spending more taxpayer dollars does not necessarily create better outcomes. We must constantly evaluate our programs
With the dawn of the Trump era, however, issues like poverty and homelessness are being ignored for matters such as military defense and nationalism.
Lands that most of you have never even heard of. But to crush ISIS, we have no choice, and to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. My administration, with the help of Paul and Ron and everybody, will also rebuild our badly depleted military and take care of our...
Rather than ignoring issues like poverty, it's important to research and educate yourself. But most importantly, to travel, because in the process you learn about the world, the lifestyles of others, and yourself. Visiting Ecuador has only encouraged me to follow my passions. Now, I'm more driven than ever to become a journalist and write about the stories of the underprivileged, whose voices are not heard nor acknowledged. As students who are privileged enough to live in New York City, it's our duty to get their stories heard and make a difference in humanity.